Hello and welcome to Finextra TV. I'm Hannah Wallace and we're speaking in the lead up to Singapore Fintech Festival. Joining me now in our virtual studio is Ann Barefoot, founder and CEO of Alliance for Innovation Regulation, in other words, AIR. So Joanne, thank you very much for joining us. Good to have you on.
Delighted to be here.
Really good to have you on. Of course, we're speaking in the lead up to Singapore Fintech Festival, where you'll be speaking in a number of sessions, I know, including two that are focusing on the latest trends, challenges and opportunities surrounding AI. And they'll also be talking a bit about the regulation around AI on a global scale. So looking forward to covering as much as we can in this interview. But firstly, I'd like to touch on the one around AI governance in banking. It's by no means a small question, but what do you think financial institutions can expect from regulators as they navigate these AI journeys we're seeing? We'll start there.
Yes. I think we need to recognize that both the banks and the regulators are embarking on a journey together, and it's going to be a long, arduous journey. We have very rapid, profound change occurring due to AI, completely game-changing technology. And we have a regulatory and system and governance mechanisms that are not designed to deal with rapid change. So we're going to see fits and starts, inconsistency, some mistakes. We're going to have the market out ahead of the rules, and people are going to have to be trying to get accustomed to uncertainty and try to be guided by common sense as to what regulators are likely to expect in governance. And bit by bit, we'll build law and case law around this, but we'll have a lot of chaos in the meantime.
What will be great at the Singapore Fintech Festival is that it's a good combination of policymakers, regulators, and the FIs all coming together to discuss those challenges. But off the back of what we've covered so far, what do you think are the right conditions there needed to catalyze responsible AI innovation and also the experimentation there as well?
Yeah, experimentation is one of the keys. We need a tremendous upsurge in lab type environments, both in the public and private sectors, where people try things and see what happens. And because AI involves a lot of activity that we don't fully comprehend exactly how it's working, we need to get much, much better at measuring outcomes, looking at the outcomes that we consider acceptable, as well as the process, of course, and the inputs. And then I think the whole thing needs to be overlain with a cultural and legal commitment to doing the right thing, to ethics, and kind of an ethic of doing no harm as we go into these uncharted waters.
That's right. There are a lot of elements, different elements to take into account. And I know one of the big topics will be generative AI as well, and the future of consumer financial protection. That's a really big one. So yes, whilst there are many benefits to generative AI, what do you think are some of the risks that need to be considered in light of this widespread adoption? What about that?
Yeah, so generative AI, it's like any innovative technology, but more so, is a double-edged sword. It can do great good. It can certainly do tremendous harm. And in consumer protection, I think we expect harm in the realm of fraud and scams, misleading products, crime committed against people. People will be able to call up somebody's grandmother in the voice of a granddaughter and say, I need you to send me money, and actually have a conversation. You know, we just aren't used to things like this. We also worry tremendously about bias being introduced. This AI can be a de-biasing system if we design it right, but it has tremendous risk of importing a lot of bias. The other thing on consumer financial protection is there's a chance that we're going to develop an AI assistant for each of us that will protect us, even when the government isn't on top of everything, that we're going to have a smart little robot type thing that can help us see through a scam and make a good choice or help us run our budgeting and bill paying. And that would be good if you designed it right.
Yes, that's a really interesting concept there. Interested to hear a bit more about that further down that line. And where do the regulators come into that then? How do they harness the capabilities of generative AI to enhance their monitoring, their oversight, and also the policy making for the financial sector? And examples that you've just shared as well.
Yes, so the regulators have a very difficult job. They have to try to allow good things to happen and prevent bad things from happening. And again, they have to try to do it through their current technology infrastructure, which is way out of date in almost every regulatory body in the world. So they're going to have to up their own game in terms of their own technology. They're going to have to move into the cloud. They're going to have to use AI themselves. They're going to have to digitize all their data and be able to find trends. And if they don't do these things, bad things will happen because they can't see into the system as it's growing in complexity and moving with ever faster speed. So they have a job to get on top of what's happening, both with the reported data of the firms they oversee and the external data, the Internet of Things, the things that are showing us what's happening in trends. And again, use AI in a smart way themselves to find the emerging trends early, share that information. And to do this, they'll have to change their skill sets, their cultures. It's, as I said at the start, it's going to be a journey.
It is, and you touched on skill sets there. I know on the talent stage at the event, they're going to be talking about the challenges of upskilling and how that matches the introduction of AI in organizations. Another topic for another time, perhaps. But Joanne, thank you so much for sharing your insights. I know that the event will do a good job of bringing out those risks and challenges we covered today, but also the benefits and opportunities as well with the harness of regulators. And I look forward to speaking to you further down the line. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. My pleasure.